Like the previous district judge candidates, they will have a half-minute introduction, 1 minute to answer each question, 2 minute summation. We allow time for 5 minutes. Once again, we will reverse the order of the questions, and I would like to remind the candidates to identify themselves before they answer every question for the benefit of the news media.
Good evening. My name is Colby. I was born and raised in Mifflin County, lived in Mifflin County my whole life. I currently live in Dry Valley with my wife Sherry, 3 daughters, Zoe, Rachel, and Macy. After graduating high school in 1981, I served honorably in the United States Navy, worked locally for 17 years owning my own business, and I've already completed all the required educational training mandated by the state Supreme Court. My name is Tom Heller. Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Reed. I'm running for Magisterial District Judge. I'm an attorney and lifelong resident of Mifflin County. Some of you may remember my grandparents, Bob and Maxine, who used to own the Dairy Queen store in Lewistown. As an attorney, I'm qualified to fill this position immediately without having to take and pass a course after being elected, and I will be full-time. This is not an afterthought for me, it's a passion. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Steve Snook. I'm candidate for Magisterial District Judge. I'm been in this community lifelong. Graduated from Lewistown campus of Penn Highlands in 1973. Graduated from the Indiana University of Pennsylvania in 1977. Duquesne School of Law in 1982, near the top of my class. I've been qualified to do this job for 32 years. I've been a practicing lawyer that time. 20 of those years as a prosecutor and 13 more as a defense lawyer and doing all types of law.
Good evening, my name is Richard Strausberg. I've been a lifelong resident of Mifflin County and of this community. I am married to my wife Kelly, and I have 2 wonderful children, Nathan and Alyssa. The 3 points that I would like to introduce you to and about me are, I have the education and the background. I have the practical experience pertinent to this position, and I am consistent. Thank you.
Hello, my name is John Pannizzo. I'm running for Magisterial District Judge 58302. I'm married to Carla Holland from New Lancaster Valley. I have 3 children, Summer, Frankie, and John Paul. I'm running because God has blessed me. This county has supported me for 20 years, and I'm ready to serve my community in a full-time capacity.
Question, what qualifications do you possess for the position of district magistrate?
I've already made the commitment to take all the mandated courses that the state requires to fulfill this position. As of May 19th, I don't have to do anything. Everything is in line for me and completed. And again, I've already completed all the required courses mandated by the state to fulfill the Magisterial District Judge position. Thanks.
I am an attorney. First of all, my name is Jonathan Reed, excuse me. I am an attorney. I've prepared myself for this position through my education and experience. I've served in our judicial system, our local judicial system, in a variety of capacities, including judicial law clerk, mental health hearing review officer, and juvenile probation officer. As part of my responsibilities as a judicial law clerk, I presided as a master over numerous courtroom proceedings at the common pleas court level. I believe this bench experience will be invaluable to me as a magisterial district judge, and I'm confident in my ability to serve as your next magisterial district judge. Thank you.
As I said in my opening, I've been an attorney for the past 32 years. I have great experience and education. The education I got at the Duquesne School of Law, the experience I got here working in Mifflin County among all the people here. For 20 years, I was a prosecutor. I tried cases, hundreds of cases, serious cases. I've been in court, I'm in front of judges, probably, if not every day, I'm in front of a judge at least 3 days a week, and have been since 1982. I know what it takes to be a good judge. I know what it takes to effectively run a courtroom and to give people fair, impartial, and independent hearings. I plan to do that if I'm elected as judge. I believe that my experience is what makes me different from the rest of the candidates here. That experience is my hallmark of this campaign. Experience matters, and my experience is vast and extensive. Thank you.
Richard Strausberg. I believe that my experience is from my education that I've received. I have a degree in criminal justice, and I have served in the school district not just as a teacher, but as a former assistant principal and a current building leader. Within those capacities, I've had the opportunity to weigh situations, sift through testimonies, and ultimately come up with consequences. I've been very successful in doing this, in communicating with the individuals involved, parents, administrators, and the community. Therefore, I believe that I have a very good common sense background of the information, and based on my education, I feel I am more than qualified. Thank you.
John Pannizzo. I graduated from Penn State with a BA in finance. I took an extra emphasis on business law classes. I'm also a landlord and a tenant. I have go through contracts. I've been a contractor and I've had work done for me. I've been a small business owner for 20 years. I oversee 70 people. I reconcile cash receipts and get audited on a daily basis. My experience with our youth is above and beyond my career. It's my passion. When we talk about what kind of background we have, my background is the background of this community. It's safety and increasing its quality of life.
Next question. If elected, will you be a full-time magisterial district judge? Mr. Reed, you may answer first.
Jonathan Reed, yes, I will be full-time. I will have no other business interest. I will not be affiliated with any law practice or any business. I will be obligated to no one. This is important because efficiency at this level is essential. The point of the magisterial court is to reduce congestion at the common pleas court level. Also, this will help me to avoid conflicts with my job. I won't have people coming before me that I've entered into business transactions with. So I will be full-time. This is a passion for me, and I will devote my full time and attention to this job. Thank you.
Steve Snook. I also devote my full time and attention to this job. I plan to do this, as Mr. Reed says, with passion and integrity, and you have to be able to do that, to do it independently. Not only will I commit myself to this job, I have committed myself throughout this election to the service of only one term, and I believe judicial independence is so important in this job. I have also not accepted any campaign contributions, and I have agreed, promised, to only serve one 6-year term. It's a longer term, it's a 6-year term. I believe the fact that you're not looking for re-election, no one's giving you money, you're independent, you're able to do what's right, and I can do it with courage and conviction. That's the way I did it when I was a district attorney, I'll do it that way now. Thank you.
Richard Strausberg. Yes, I will devote 100% time to this position. Unfortunately, I would have to give up teaching, which I have thoroughly enjoyed for the last 14 years. However, I do agree that this position is very important to the legal system, and I am planning on devoting 100% time to that. I have given so many hours to this position, I'm sorry, not this position, but the teaching position. I put in typically 12-hour days, and I expect to do nothing less for this position. Thank you.
John Pannizzo. Everything I've ever done is full-time. I entered this campaign knowing that when elected on January 2nd, when I take oath, I will lose one of my businesses. That's what I'm sacrificing to do this job. I fully understand that. I'm fully ready to divest that for this community. When we talk about how much time we're going to get involved in, I'm 24/7 already. I'm committed to anything I do. For anyone to think, any of the voters to believe that I'm not going to honor this position is a mistake. I'm ready to serve my community in full-time capacity, and I'm willing to divest myself of whatever it takes to do that.
Tom Heller. Yes, I will be full-time. Like John, I have a business. It is located in a different district. I already have staff in place and an associate broker who works for me who is going to take over the day-to-day operations. The business that I have has never one time been in front of Aaron Gingrich or Barb Claire. It's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. And yes, you can count on me being a full-time district judge.
Next question. What challenges do magisterial district courts face? Mr. Snook, you may answer first.
Thank you. My name is Steve Snook. The magisterial district judges face a number of challenges. I think probably the most important challenge of a magisterial district judge is that you are that first level of justice in the county. You look at every affidavit of probable cause to see whether or not there's enough information to give the government a warrant to come into your house for a search warrant or a warrant to arrest someone, you, your kids, anyone. So that's the biggest challenge. It's where I would excel in this job. I have a comprehensive knowledge of constitutional criminal law, and constitutional criminal procedure. When the government wants to come to your house for a warrant, when they want to arrest their kids or someone you love, you want an intelligent, experienced magisterial district judge looking at that paperwork and saying, you know what, it's not here. You don't want a rubber stamp. You want somebody that critically examines it and knows how. And I'm that person.
Could you repeat the question one more time, please?
What challenges do magisterial district courts face?
Thank you. Richard Strausberg. The challenges that they face, I believe one has been alluded to earlier, is compulsory attendance. I had to sit in on compulsory attendance as assistant principal. I'm very familiar with these proceedings. And the resolutions for these have been, again, quite successful. I deal with it again on a daily basis within the school districts, and it's quite a challenge. I also show impartiality to each of the individuals, and I therefore think that that's one of the biggest issues they face. Thank you.
John Pannizzo. This office faces a lot of challenges, and we can just list them all, but two of the main things here that you have to keep in mind is this office has collected over $2.2 million over a 6-year period that belongs to the taxpayers in cost, fees, and restitution. Who's going to be able to handle that? But the biggest challenge this office is going to face is youth repeat offenders. Who has the experience to deal with our youth, to give them value for not only their life, but also their community? When we talk about truancy, yeah, that's a tough issue. You blame the parent, you blame the child. You can't change 15 years of bad parenting in 15 minutes. It's going to take someone, put put our arm around that kid and let him realize the value of his life and the value of an education. And it takes a special person to do that.
Tom Heller, I think there are two challenges that face the district judge office. Number one is not only assigning fines, but knowing that the person that you're assigning the fine to is going to have the capability of paying it. Like John said, this office brought in $2.2 million, and you don't want to be assigning fines and then spending county money to go out and try to collect fines that the people just don't have the money. You'd be better off assigning them to community service or something that's a little more advantageous than just assigning a fine. The other thing are the youth today. I want to become very active with the youth today. There's a lot of kids that are multiple offenders. I think a lot of those kids are misdiagnosed. I think you should use the services through children and youth and mental health services to make sure that there's not something wrong with the child's stability before you start assigning fines and penalties. My name's Tom Heller. Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Reed. First, I'd like to say that I believe this office has been very well run and administered, and I would like to pick up where Aaron Gingrich leaves off. The office faces many challenges, including those mentioned: collections, repeat offenders, and because this district encompasses a disproportionate number of schools in our district, there are a lot of issues with youth, especially compulsory school attendance. I've worked with youth in a variety of capacities in our criminal justice system, including juvenile probation officer, detention centers, halfway houses. I have familiarity with our mental health system as a result of my experience working as a mental health review officer. I'm familiar with the resources available in our community through our criminal justice system, and I would use those resources to help me to address the issues that are faced by our youth today, and would continue to pour my life into our youth just as I did as a juvenile probation officer. Thank you.
Next question, and I think we've all touched on this already. How do you or how would you deal with juvenile school absentee or attendance issues? Mr. Strausberg, you may answer first.
Thank you. Well, again, I've alluded to the fact that I've been part of this school system for 14 years. I've taught at all three levels of the educational system: high school, middle school, and elementary. I am a building leader. I've been an assistant principal. I'm involved with the SAP program, the Student Assistance Program. I am part of those individuals' lives now. If I'm elected as the next magisterial district judge, I do plan to continue that communication, that effective communication and results outside of the school system. Thank you.
John Pannizzo. In the past calendar year, I've mentored over 78 children in this county. I've devoted the last 20 years to spending time with them, to uplifting their lives. They just want love. That's it. They want someone to lay it down, lay the rules down. If you're an offender, you have to pay the price, and they have to understand that. Then they have to understand what this second offense is going to mean to them. But at the same time, it's not a lost child. You can't just keep dumping on them, or they're going to stay on the system and be a burden to our police force and our taxpayers. We got to put our arm around them and say, all right, this is what you did. This is what we're going to do. And you're going to come back and see me because we care about you. And we're going to mentor you. And I'm going to put you around people that's going to matter. Because it starts within. And they have to believe that. This county is a great county. And we got to turn this youth problem around. This office has done a great job over the last 6 years. And we got to continue bridging that gap.
I agree. You have to be very active with today's youth. You also have to make them aware of where the consequences are going to take them. I think you also have to take a good hard look at where they're living, who they're living with, parents, guardians. There's got to be a sense of responsibility. You can't put the entire load on a 10 or 12-year-old kid. I'm sorry, some of the responsibility has to go back to the home or the guardian. Somebody's got to be watching the kids. Somebody's got to be telling them what's around. And that's where I would become extremely active, taking these kids aside and make sure they understand if they don't stop, where exactly they're going to go, if their parents are getting involved or not. It's a one-way street once you start down that road, and you really have to stop and turn them around, so we have to get involved. Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Reed. I believe that our youth need to understand that there are consequences for their actions. Obviously, in a situation like this, you're going to be dealing with an entire family. I agree, the parents have to bear some responsibility in this situation. The current office uses a number of different protocols, including continuances, to give the juvenile an opportunity to turn things around so that he doesn't have a criminal record following him the rest of his life. They also use ARDs and ARDOs. The idea is to distinguish between youthful indiscretions and budding criminal activity. You have to understand that two of them have to be dealt with differently. So my experience, I believe, will help me in understanding the issues that are being faced and the resources in the community that can be utilized to assist in addressing these issues. And I will do it with my whole heart and with passion. Thank you.
Steve Snook, in my 20 years as the district attorney in the office, I did every juvenile case. There have been hundreds, probably thousands of juvenile cases I dealt with over the time. It's so important to deal with juvenile cases effectively, and I believe I've done that. That gives me a leg up and experience in doing these kinds of cases. Judge Garrick has done an excellent job in providing some alternative disposition programs for kids. I've also raised a couple of kids successfully, and that is the biggest challenge. I've dealt with kids in their very worst settings. I've handled and tried child sexual assault. Many of the time, these kids are victims. They're victims of the people they live with. They're victims of the society in which they live, the close family people around them. I work to get these kids help and work with them. I continue to do that. I work with every agency in this county. There's not any agency here who hasn't worked with me and realizes my passion for kids, and I would continue to do that.
Last question. What do you consider the two most important issues that need addressed in this magisterial district judge office? Mr. Pannizzo, you may answer first.
I think we touched on the youth repeat offenders. This office is a community office. The history of this office, that someone from the community would step forward, someone with common sense, integrity, was trustworthy to hear cases between the citizens of this district. And that's the history of the magistrate's office for the Commonwealth of PA. And it takes someone like that to step forward and hear everyone's cases. Just like the youth repeat offenders, it takes someone who understands both sides. Any of those issues, the minor judicial issues, someone who understands both sides. This is a community office, and it belongs to the community. It doesn't belong to the system. This is the first step in the system, and it takes someone to step forward and take control of this office and bridge that gap with the community closer.
I think we already touched on both of them. Again, I think it's the kids. You have to keep an eye on what's going on in the community. Use the facilities that are made available to the district judge to make sure that the kids are being diagnosed properly, whether it be a family problem or mental problem, and make sure it goes assisted. The other thing, again, is with fines. Make sure you're assigning fines to people who can pay fines. You don't want to assign fines and spend more county money trying to get money out of people that aren't working, that don't have the ability to pay fines. So if they don't have the ability to pay fines, make sure they're paying back with community service or time in another program. Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Reed. I believe that youth are definitely an issue in this office, especially with compulsory school attendance or truancy. I'm familiar with the programs offered in our community through various organizations and agencies, including probation, clear concepts, career link, etc. I would use all of these resources to assist me. Also, collections is a major issue, and especially attempting to get money from people who are not employed. The office currently uses various agencies and organizations. One of them that come to the top of my mind is Career Link, the Get to Work program, which offers work skills, resources, attempts to make the citizens productive so that they can pay their fines and stay out of criminal activity. I would utilize these resources and do my best to address these issues. Thank you.
Steve Snook. Magisterial District Judge is the cornerstone of criminal justice and civil justice in this community. It is the first place that you run into the system which will deal with you as far as criminal or civil matters that come in front of. In order to be a judge, you have to be fair, you have to be honest, you have to have integrity, you have to have knowledge and experience of how to be a judge. I've been helping people settle their problems for many years. And that's a lot of what this judge does. Judge Garrick has done a wonderful job there. You must be able to continue that. You must have working knowledge of the rules of evidence. You have to be able to conduct a hearing. You have to know the rules. You have to know the law. And you have to give people the sense that they've been heard and they've received a reasoned decision. They may not always win. As a matter of fact, half the time they're going to lose. But they have to know why they lose. And that's the key to doing this job well. Letting people understand why they win or they lose. We're trying to settle an argument before they win or they lose. Helping them construct a settlement that makes sense to them so that they all believe that they walked away winners. And you can do that if you know what you're doing. Thank you.
Would you again mind reading that question one more time?
Yes. What do you consider the two most important issues that need addressed in this office?
Thank you. Rich Strausberg. Again, we've alluded to the issue of the children. I've been involved with the children, as I said, 14 years. Part of this student assistance program, we are constantly working with outside agencies to help the children, not just continue to allow barriers to be in between them. So obviously we do see the barriers of them not wanting to attend school or just not being there, and while they're there, not succeeding. So we are constantly working to assist these individuals so these instances aren't affecting their academics. Therefore, I would continue to utilize those resources, such as clear concepts, different counseling agencies. And again, you know, when we talk about the collecting fines and so forth, I want to work with those to do, community service, I apologize. Community service, so that, again, they are held accountable where sometimes it hurts, which is the pocket. Thank you.
This time we will have a summation from the candidates. We will reverse the order. They have 2 minutes each for summation, and we will start with John Pannizzo.
I'm John Pannizzo, running for Magisterial District Judge 58302. I am scheduled to take the course in June to be certified to do this job. The Commonwealth of PA does not make it a mandatory to be an attorney for this position. Actually, if they wanted an attorney in this position, they would mandate that. They want someone from the community, someone who has common sense, someone who's honest, someone who has integrity, someone coming out of the community to represent them all. I'm excited about this position. I'm excited about what I can do. I'm willing to sacrifice my own career, put it to the side so I could serve this community. I will be full-time. I do not owe anybody any favors. I will be the hardest elected official this district has ever put into office. That is my track record. I spent 12 years in the Mifflin County Planning Commission above my career. I work with any organization that calls, and they all call. When we talk about youth repeat offenders, look, we're great guys here. I get along with all of them, we've all gotten along. But it's really a mentality on how you approach this. Who can call Deb Wilt at the Luminous Center and say, Deb, I'm going to sing you a gentleman here who just needs you in his life, and I want you to give him 50 hours there. Who can call Mary Mulvihill at the United Way and say, look, you need people for day of caring. I'm going to sing you someone. You're going to uplift their life and make a difference. I'm excited about what I can do here. This court is not going to hear major cases. That stuff gets bounded over to the judge. Aaron Ginger and Honorable Dave Barron will take care of those issues. We want someone from the community, someone who has passion and love for it, and who's ready to tackle every issue with honesty and integrity. I thank you for your time.
You may know me for teaching or coaching our youth over the last 14 years. I have a bachelor's degree in education, a master's degree in educational leadership, which includes principal certification. My experiences have been fantastic in preparing me for this opportunity. I was assistant principal at Indian Valley High School in 2011 and currently building leader at Lewistown Intermediate School. In both assignments, I have a proven track record of weighing circumstances, sifting through testimonies, resolving conflicts, and ultimately assigning consequences with effective results. Some of those experiences have involved search and seizure involving drugs and weapons, along with formal and informal hearings. I work and communicate with the parents, administrators, school resource officer, and the community to make our area a better place. And I attribute this success to my education and many years of experience coupled with common sense. Prior to teaching, I received a degree in criminal justice and completed an internship with Mifflin County Regional Police Department. Please make note that this position has its roots in the justice of the peace system, where a respected member of the community who had common sense was chosen to settle small disputes. This job was never intended for attorneys. That role was meant for the Court of Common Pleas. A law degree does not guarantee sound judgment or moral rectitude. The offices of MDJ are inferior courts with limited jurisdiction, presiding over such things as summary offenses, landlord-tenant issues, small civil claims, municipal ordinances, and preliminary hearings, and arraignments for greater misdemeanors and felony offenses. With my degree in criminal justice coupled with my experience as a school leader, I recognize the parallels between these two positions and feel that I am more than qualified and look forward to serving as Magisterial District Judge. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Steve Snook. My judicial philosophy is summed up in a quote from William O. Douglas, great Supreme Court Justice. And it was this, that the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the judiciary in general are there to keep the government off the backs of the people. And I've lived by that for 32 years, 20 years of practice in the district attorney's office. I believe that. And if I'm elected, I will follow through with that. I disagree that this is a magisterial district judge is the same as the old district justice. Times have changed. 50 years ago, 70 years ago, that's what it was. Oscar Brush, squeezed his seal on your traffic ticket and that's it. It's not what it is today. Magisterial district judges today decide M3s, misdemeanor 3s. They can put people in jail for longer periods of time As a matter of fact, magisterial district judges can serve as masters, and Judge Gingrich has served as a master in the Mifflin County Court of Common Pleas, certainly doing substance abuse courts. It is important, I believe, to have an attorney in this position. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to be. Just because you don't have to be, I suggest that the citizens are not entitled to the bare minimum. They are entitled to the best in that office. That's what Judge Gingrich given them, that's what I expect to give them. I made a promise and intend to keep it. I will only serve one term. It guarantees judicial independence, and I plan to follow through with that. I also have taken no contributions from anyone, and I'll follow through with that. I've helped people for many years. I know many people in this community in positions of government, and I will work with them. I'm going to make you one other promise. You're not going to see me on election day, or my people, out at the polls trying to stuff a pen in your pocket and buying your vote with a tablet. This county has been through tremendous primary. I believe, I trust people to know who they're going to vote for and go out and use their own common sense. I think the people need a break. I'm not going to have anyone out there trying to buttonhole you to get my vote. Vote with courage, vote with confidence. Don't be intimidated. Don't be bullied. Go out, make this your election. Thank you very much.
I am an attorney. For me, this is not an afterthought. It is a passion. I've prepared myself for this position through my education and my training, and I'm confident in my ability to take this logical step in my career. Over the past several months, I've knocked on almost 2,000 doors. I've met hundreds of warm and caring people who share my desire to make this community better. This has reinforced my desire to be your next magisterial district judge. In fact, from my perspective, as a magisterial district judge, I can maximize my interest in our judicial system, help people, and better serve our community. This is my attitude. To paraphrase our former president, the office of magisterial district judge is not about what this community can offer me. It's about what I can offer this community. I appreciate your time tonight. I thank you for it, and I will appreciate your vote on May 19th. Thank you.
My name is Tom Heller. Tammy Hunter, Jack Miller, Barb Clare, all multi-term respected district judges. Not one of them's an attorney. You don't need to be an attorney to sit for this position. You need three things. You need to show an unblemished work ethic. You have to have the education, not just any education, you've got to have the right education. I've already made the commitment to myself and to you back in November and December to take the courses mandated by the state that says I'm qualified to do this job. I know what an affidavit of probable cause is. I know what must be within the four corners of that affidavit before I sign a search warrant. I know how to handle a preliminary arraignment. I know what the parameters of setting bail are. Financially, this office is a county office. You're supervising county employees and handling county money. I want somebody in there with business experience. I opened a real estate business 17 years ago and ran it through the worst real estate depression in United States history. Cutting costs and trimming budgets. If the state funds fall through 2 years from now, you want somebody in that position that can handle it, that can supervise the employees and make sure they stick to the budget. I've been a property owner and real estate taxpayer for over 25 years. I want somebody in that office that has a vested interest, that owns real estate in Mifflin County and is contributing. I don't want somebody else handling my money. I want somebody knowledgeably handling my money. I worked at Jaywood and Standard Steel for 10 years, Well, I completed courses to get my real estate broker and real estate certification. I've worked with a lot of you people out there, farmers, entrepreneurs. This job is not a full-time job, it's a lifetime job. 60 to 80-hour work weeks are normal for me. That's what this job requires. You can't put somebody in there that's only worked a 40-hour week. There aren't DUIs coming through the door at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You got to have somebody in there that has the commitment and the knowledge and the background and the work ethic to do the job. That's Tom Heller. I served in the United States Navy for 6 years. I'd be honored and proud to serve Mifflin County for 6 years. Thank you.
I'd like to thank these candidates for Magisterial District Judge for District 58302. As they exit the stage, we are going to ask the Mifflin County Commissioner candidates to come up.